snaps.
We are comfortable today.
Yup. Cheers. Let's see if we
Cheers.
can clank this loud enough.
Okay, and welcome to the bar.
Welcome to the bar.
Today's episode is brought to you by El Cocho.
Audio only. It's your snoozy, sleepy Sunday.
Yes,
version
this
of
is
the bar.
a audio only version today because we had a really busy weekend and we've been on our feet a lot. So we decided to do an audio only version of the bar today.
Yep. Busy week, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
Well,
it's been
you know what?
we've been moving around a lot, so it almost feels fitting to do an audio only kind of like chill
Yeah.
version of it.
It's funny because last week was like really, really busy, and then I find like this week has been kind of getting back into a normal balance of busy.
Yeah,
A better
well,
flow.
I agree with you. Like, it's been, do this, do that, kind of try and, complete some awesome things. But at the same time, like, I think trying to find, the right balance is always key. And especially for a bar episode. Like, I think, the fact that both of us were just like, you want to just hang out and do an audio version, I think it just makes sense this week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I just found out today that yesterday there was a Super Smash Bros. Tournament and I didn't even know it was going on. And it was literally in the hotel up the street in like a conference room. But I didn't even know. It's just, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't like being to the point where you've got too much going on or something and you don't even know that something up the street is happening, like a video game tournament up the street, and I didn't even know it happened until the day after. I was like,
why would you know?
But it's not like it was far away. Like it was literally something that was happening like up the street.
I know, but
So I feel like, but it's not like it was very much like put out there or anything,
well, that's what I'm saying. Is like how
and I didn't know any of the organizers, so.
Did they advertise this thing at all? Like now that you started looking at it?
No, like
today?
I didn't see anything for this video game tournament until today, because somebody mentioned it in a comment that it happened yesterday, but I didn't even know about it until until I saw the results today. There was apparently like 30 people in it, but I didn't know any of the organizers, and I mean, everybody's just gamer tags, so you don't know who anybody is, unless you really know gamer tags, but I can't say I can, like, associate a lot of gamer tags to people's names.
Speaking of which, I totally did not play Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, you still can get Luigi's Mansion in there.
I know, but now my brain is smushed.
Oh, okay, so you don't want to play Luigi's Mansion right now? Maybe another time?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try and squeeze it in tomorrow night.
A little Luigi's Mansion?
After work.
Nice, that's cool.
I felt like I just needed to get some painting time in today. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't have to play video games every day.
And then yesterday was just whack.
Yeah.
I was an emotional basket case yesterday.
Emotions were heavy yesterday, yeah.
Just up and down. Must
That's
be PMSing.
fair. Okay, that's quite possible, yeah.
I'm like crying one minute and then laughing the next minute.
Yeah, for sure.
Complete chaos.
And if they hear crickets in this episode, it's because there's some outside. Like legit crickets.
There's also some inside, really.
That's true.
Speaking of which, that's another thing I didn't.
We have crickets inside, and we have crickets inside, and we have to feed our spiders and do a water change.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a few things that we can do later today.
Holy crap! I just like fell off the planet.
Yeah, sometimes time just goes by, and I think like even if you have a few things that you want to do, sometimes you just get occupied by I don't know, something else.
Painting the same
And
Triceratops over and over and over again?
Yeah, or learning about capacitors. Which I spent 2 hours today trying to learn about capacitors and how they work. Because we have a situation where we need a new capacitor for an AC unit, so I'm learning all about capacitors and trying to figure out how they actually work and stuff.
He's learning about capacitors, and I'm trying to figure out how to make atmospheric perspective without references.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not like a capacitor master, so I have to like try and figure out. There's so many different types of capacitors.
I'm a capacitor.
There's so many different types of capacitors. I didn't even know they made that many capacitors.
I didn't even know what a capacitor was until today.
Until about
yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh.
No idea what that was. Didn't even know that word existed.
A capacitor.
Yep.
A capacitor. Yeah, I mean, they store energy and then they send it out and they juice up engines and stuff. Like small little engines, like air conditioning engines, and they can be used for many other things.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, well, they can be used for all kinds of different reasons, but that's the purpose, to store and juice energy at levels of that the capacitor chooses.
That's cool.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep.
Pretty nifty little thing. But we went and saw a little bit of the festival going on locally, and we saw a guy playing his guitar while doing various tricks with it and making a very ambient, whammy sounding atmosphere as we were chilling on a patio.
Yeah.
Which was neat.
Yeah.
I love being on a patio with someone playing live music.
Yeah.
I think that is such a nice vibe. Wherever your patio is with someone playing some live music, always super cool.
Yeah.
I always dig that vibe for sure.
Yeah. I
It's
just wanted
great.
to see how many times I could say yeah.
Well, you could say yeah a lot because yeah is such a great word and it's very universal.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so annoying.
But then you can kind of use yeah as a question, like yeah?
Right?
Right? And you can just use it as a question and you could say like yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
The Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Isn't that a band?
yeah.
Yeah.
They suck.
You don't like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs?
I do not like the yeah yeah yeahs.
That's fair. I don't know. I don't know if I'm very familiar with the Yeah Yeah Yeahs music myself. I'd have to listen to more Yeah Yeah Yeahs. I'd have to dig deep into the Yeah Yeah Yeahs albums.
From what I remember, it's
I'm gonna stay neutral on the Yeah Yeah Yeahs because I don't know.
electronic female vocalness.
Oh, okay. I might like it.
You might. I didn't. But that's me.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This drink is nummy.
It is nummy.
It's nummy.
It's cool to be at the bar in an extremely comfortable setting right now. I didn't have to do my makeup, which is great because when I'm doing my makeup for the bar episodes, it takes a lot of time. I got to put on all the foundations and the eyelashes.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that I actually put my beard on every time that we do an episode. So right now they're not seeing my beard because it's audio only because they don't know that I have to put my beard on every time.
That's funny.
I have to put glue all over my face and then I have to use the fake hair and I have to glue my beard on every time.
What a pain in the ass.
So they don't know that I have a fake beard until right now. Right now because I just said I had a fake beard. That would be it. Imagine somebody used a fake beard every day. Do you think somebody out there uses a fake beard every day?
Probably.
Who would want to put on a fake beard every day? That seems weird.
Maybe someone who can't grow a beard that's trying to be all, like, tough looking?
Maybe, yeah. But I don't feel like fake beards are part of, like... Well, there's got to be maybe a few people out there that wear fake beards every day.
There's gotta be. I mean, people wear toupees.
Mm-hmm, that's true. A lot of fake hair, you can't even notice that it's fake hair anymore because the toupees are so badass.
Although, Addams Family, the new thing that's being made, or that has been made, I guess I should say, is coming to Netflix.
Okay.
And they kind of released a little teaser trailer. I think it's just Wednesday is what it's called.
Okay, cool.
And they released a couple pictures or whatever. And the dude playing Gomez has the worst toupee I have ever seen.
Yeah.
It's a terrible toupee.
It's not the best.
His whole face. I don't even understand it. I'm like, what the fuck is with Gomez?
And it's just all mashed up.
It's all squished. I don't know. It's weird. But what's funny is I saw someone else kind of make a comment about it and share a picture from the old cartoons.
Okay.
He totally looks like the old cartoon guy.
Oh, nice. So they made it more look like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
But, like, I've grown accustomed to Gomez being, like, this suave, Italian, sort of lusty man.
Yeah.
And less of a football face that looks deflated. But the bad toupee.
Oh, damn, yeah. No, there's some bad toupees that have been in existence, and I'd like to see, I mean, I know they use a lot of fake beards and stuff for movies and makeup and like, props like that, but I'd like to see someone that uses like a fake beard daily to see how they do it or what the best way to put I'm hooked on the fake beard now. I feel like I want to meet somebody that uses a fake beard every day and figure out what they're doing to make their fake beard the best.
Well, get down and dig in that deep dark web.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some searches for fake beard people and see, what's the root cause of someone wanting to wear a fake beard every day.
Yo mama.
That could be a root cause.
It could be.
Maybe somebody is hiding from they mama, so they wanna wear a fake beard because they're hiding from their mama and they don't want their mama to notice them, so they put on a fake beard.
Yeah.
Like if you lived in the same city as your mama, but you didn't want to see her at Walmart, you could just wear a fake beard and then your mama never even know it you.
True.
You can wear your cap sideways and maybe a wig and a fake beard and sunglasses. You could be anybody.
You could be your mama.
That's awesome.
With a beard. You.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. I know you just told me this story, but I think you should share your Star Fox story.
You're just in love with my Star Fox story.
I think you should. I think people want to hear.
It's not even that big of a story.
It's cool though. Amanda was in a video game competition when she was younger.
Yeah.
And she was playing Star Fox.
'Cause I'm cool.
And it was in a mall in Elliott Lake.
Like in the middle of the mall in front of the library.
Yeah, this is the best story, and she'll carry it on from here.
Well, that was pretty much it.
Oh, there's more to it than that.
Well, I went and I played, and I did good, I think. I won money. That's all I remember, because I must have been really young. I don't know when Star Fox came out, but it was Super Nintendo. I remember that much.
Was it Super Nintendo?
Mm-hmm.
Star Fox. Well, since we have the capability, I'm gonna take a quick second.
He's consulting the Oracle.
Yeah, so Star Fox for Super Nintendo. Right? Let me just see. I'm gonna take a quick look at that. Star Fox, Super Nintendo. So Star Fox for Super Nintendo came out in 1993.
Ooh,
so you probably might not even have been 10. Like yeah, I don't know, maybe you were 10, right. About 10 years old.
9 or 10, sure.
So 1993, Star Fox. You were in a tournament back in 1993 that was a video game tournament in an Elliott Lake Mall, and you won some money.
That's what happens when you're a loser, kid.
Dude, that sounds like a good time. You were in a mall in a video game tournament. You were 10 years old. Life was grand.
I had no fears. None at all.
All that mattered was that video game and that tournament. Nothing else in life mattered to you. You were just in that moment as a 10-year-old. The video game thing, was just the best thing ever. One of the coolest things that I can remember doing in a mall was going to those fish ponds.
I never did that.
You never went to a fish pond in the mall?
No.
I remember going to a fish pond in the mall, and there would be just this giant pool, and it looked like you could jump in it and swim in it, because it was just a pool, like an above ground pool.
Okay.
But there was fish in it, and
Real fish?
they stocked it with fish. and people would actually catch the fish.
Why wouldn't people just go outside?
Well, the thing was that you were able to either win prizes or keep the fish.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were big enough that you could, you could keep the fish if you wanted to eat the fish or whatever.
Okay.
And, or you could put the fish back and then they would just give you a prize. But I was pretty young too. Oh, I think that's a helicopter.
Well,
We'll see if the microphone picks up a helicopter. But yeah, I used to enjoy going to the mall to go to the fish pond thing. It was something to do.
I don't think we did that now.
It was really weird that in a city that we live in with hundreds of lakes and fish everywhere,
that's what I mean.
we would go to the mall to fish in this pool that was full of water.
Weird.
Yeah. So we live in a city with hundreds of lakes, and you can literally go anywhere and fish from shore and probably catch a rock bass or something. But you would go to the mall, and there would be the fish pond, and you would just throw a rod in, and I think you'd pay $5, and they give you a rod or something, and then you just fish. But as a 10-year-old, it's the funnest thing ever, because it's so awkward, and I think it's weird to fish out of a pool.
It is weird.
It was so just like...
I'm just picturing it like a giant version of those little metallic fish with the little rod with the magnet on the end of it.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
what I'm picturing in my head.
Totally, yeah. No, that's what it felt like. It really felt like... But there was just a tiny little hook on this, like... I don't know. Anybody who's done it would know, but it's just a tiny hook on like a bobber almost, kind of like a thing, and then you'd throw it into the fish pond in the mall, and I don't know if they still do that or not. I don't know if that's a thing anymore, or if that's stopped, or
I don't know.
But for a while, it was every year they would set up the fish kind of catching thing pond in the mall.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty strange for sure.
I don't think we did that in Elliott Lake. We used to have a real fishing tournament, or I think they still do.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think it's ice fishing, though. I think it's an ice fishing tournament.
Ice fishing?
Yeah.
Well, ice fishing tournaments are pretty popular.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you just go out on the lake with your ice hut and you try to catch some fish?
Yeah, they have prizes for, like, the most fish. And
Yeah, totally. No, it's a pretty popular thing, ice fishing tournaments. I believe around Sudbury you can find one every year somewhere.
Okay.
If that's your thing, ice fishing and ice fishing tournaments for sure. But I've never been in an ice fishing tournament. Like, I've been ice fishing a few times.
Yeah.
It's fun. I think as you get older, you definitely appreciate an ice hut or some sort of pop-up. Because if you're just out there on the lake with a hole and it gets windy, or you're out there on a really cold day, like, you can't last very long.
Cold as fuck.
Yeah, and as you get older, you realize that when... It's really funny, though, when you're like a teenager or even early 20s, you're just like, oh, we're going to go punch a hole in the ice and we'll be out there for 6 hours. And you can kind of manage it, but you're freezing and it sucks. But then you realize, like, well, why don't we just get an ice hut? Or you can even buy a pop-up, and it just cuts the wind, and it keeps you kind of warm. Me and my buddy used to put a propane heater right in the ice hut and put a small little air hole, or we'd just leave the bottom open a little bit. So the air would circulate, but yet it would warm up the pop-up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's different ways to do it. But... You definitely don't want to be out there when it's minus 30 and you don't have something to protect the wind or kind of keep you warm.
Sounds gross.
It's pretty gross.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Ooh.
But it's definitely something fun to do. And I like tournaments. I don't know if I would go in an ice fishing tournament myself.
Yeah.
But I like tournaments. I like golf tournaments. I like video game tournaments. And I'm going to put this out there that I have never been in an official video game tournament. You have and I haven't. I've played, many video games up, down, sideways. But to be in an official video game tournament with other people that you're playing side by side, I've only played just multiplayer, obviously online with other people, but I haven't
It's
been.
not the same energy.
No, I haven't been in a video game tournament where there's like other people around and I'm playing in a tournament or like some sort of bracket style video game tournament. I've never been in that like style before, and I think it'd be fun.
It was kind of like
I'd do it for sure.
I don't know what you would call it. Like I don't know the different styles of tournament, but it was just there was like a stack of TVs.
Yeah.
And a stack of consoles, and everybody just played at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you died, you were done. And just whoever went the longest was the winner chicken dinner.
Cool.
Yeah. At least that's what I remember. I don't know, my memory could be wrong. It was a long ass time ago.
Oh, fair.
But I think that's how it went.
Huh. Yeah, there's different ways you can set it up for sure. Bracket style, single elimination, double elimination.
Did you just look up all this shit after I told you about my Star Fox tournament?
Well,
there
I was, I'm interested in the setups, and I think like the bracket styles are always best. I think double elimination works pretty good, so that way you're just not out right away. Like you got to lose twice to be out, kind of thing.
See, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, but a lot of times, depending on the tournament too, like if there's 10 people in the tournament, you could probably, it really depends what you're playing, but you might be able to play everybody and then just see how everybody pans out at the end, like who beat who. You can kind of do it so many different ways, you know what I mean? Top 4 advance, and then you do like, kind of a showdown or something like that, or there's a lot of different ways to do tournaments, and there's not really a better or a worse way of doing it, but I kind of don't like the ones where if you lose one, you're out right away.
That's what it was, I think.
Because I find that a lot of times, like, you can have one bad game or a bad round or something, and then if you're out right away, it kind of feels like,
man, that's how the cookie crumbles.
I know, but, I think you have to lose 2 to be out. I feel like it. But if
when you're in the army, if you lose 1, you're dead.
That's it. If most poker tournaments, once you're out of chips, you out. So you're out of chips. You're out of chips. You don't come back in with more chips. You got to wait for the next tournament.
There you go.
So I guess in a way you can look at it like that, but for video games, I feel like you can have a bad round every now and then.
You can have a bad round of poker too.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. You can have a bad round of poker. You
might get a shitty hand.
Yeah, poker is a lot of skill, but there's a lot of luck. I mean, if you're getting good cards, you're getting good cards. If you get the best cards in the best hand, you can't lose. Yep. So, to me, poker and video games, I don't know. It's kind of different.
I don't like poker.
You don't like poker?
Well, I have a thing with cards.
You're not a huge card player.
I used to be, but then I got traumatized.
Yeah, you had some bad card experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I just get anxious, so I avoid it. Because that's what I do when I get anxious. I avoid
You just avoid things that make you
It's not
anxious.
a good habit. I don't recommend it, but it's true.
Well, avoiding situations and things that make you anxious to a certain extent is completely fine.
Yeah, I guess I do pretty good.
But if you avoid things that make you anxious all the time, you're pretty much just avoiding life.
Yeah.
You would be avoiding life and never doing anything or going anywhere. So you definitely have to get over that.
I tried listening to this thing today while I was painting.
Yeah.
About being comfortable with being disliked. Yeah. I got nothing out of it.
Being comfortable with being disliked?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So, like, you don't shift your personality or whatever based on who you're around because you're trying to fit in.
That's important for everybody.
Yeah. And
I think artists, like, really, too, like, if you're an artist kind of person, and you're maybe unsure of your own work a lot of times, don't change what you're doing based on other people's comments or what somebody else says or doesn't say about your thing.
Yeah, I had that happen to me today. Like, I was going to paint the water on the painting I'm working on, and I grabbed one of the palette knives, and I was like, okay, like, maybe I'll try and incorporate it. And I started it, and I'm like, this looks like ass. I'm like, why am I doing this? Because other people expect me to do it, so I feel like I have to. Well, that's lame.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Fair.
So I said, fuck it, and I wiped it off, and I started over.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing is, it's important to just do what you think is good, but if you do something that you're not happy with, take 2 seconds and try something else. Like, especially with painting, it doesn't take that long to just paint over something, and then if it looks shitty, either wipe it off or just let it dry and paint over it again. It's like, you know, you don't have to, it's not stuck.
And every layer that you do adds that little bit extra.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, like, when I'm sketching with a piece of paper and a pencil, I don't like erasing sketches. So
That's good. My art teacher would have loved you.
Yeah, I don't like erasing sketches, so I find like when I'm sketching with a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen or whatever, if it's something that's not going well, I just leave it. I don't know. People chew through erasers, but like there's a lot of pages you can use, and you can always find another page somewhere to sketch something on, but I don't like erasing stuff. I'd rather just sketch, and if it's something crappy, then it is what it is. But
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, like I think like a lot of times for me, it's just that if I'm trying to draw an eye or a face or just something that's like movement has always kind of been tricky for me to sketch and stuff like that, to get it just like the right style of drawing and stuff. And it's something that I don't do very often. So like for sketching, I'd rather just do 4 or 5 different ones to try to get one that I'm content with, and then keep erasing it to be like, no, like this line needs to go this way, or this line needs to go up more, or this line, like, I find that doesn't get me anywhere because I'm not like noticing my mistakes or something. Like, I don't know.
That makes sense.
I'm just and then I can't look back at anything to be like, oh yeah, that's how I fixed that, or that's how I changed that. Because it's all erased now.
Right.
I find if you have your mistakes as a reference, for your next drawing or something, if you have an old sketch that's not very good, at least you can look at that, and instead of starting from that not very good sketch, you can look at it and you can be like, oh yeah, that's where I didn't do it very well that last time, and then I could see my kind of progression, or there are some other things that I tried in order to get it good, but then the next time when I start, it's kind of like, oh, well, I don't have to go back to doing it that old way because I already have the progression, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So to me, it's like, if you're erasing stuff, you're losing your progression in your sketches because you're just erasing.
Yeah.
So
I don't erase as much as I used to. When I was younger and I think learning how to draw, I erased a lot more because I felt like my sketch had to be good.
Yeah.
Where now it's like, I put it in my head, okay, I'm sketching.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't need to be good. This is me flushing out ideas, or maybe, like you say, learning movement and kind of understanding how that works, the flow of something.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And, like, I find that digital is great for drawing, and it's cool, and I personally don't have as much experience, but I think like the digital world and just the easiness,
so much easier.
easiness that it is to press one button and have a completely blank screen, and all your ideas that you didn't like are gone, is almost like it's a weird thing, because like you have, when you're sketching and you're doodling on a digital pad or something, like you can do that for half an hour, and you're sketching and doodling on a digital pad. But then at the same time, if you don't save any of that, it's like, and you hit reset or something, it's like, that's all gone.
I think
you don't have any like thing that you're like saving as a reference or like anything, you know.
I think what's cool about sketching digitally is the fact that you can do double layers or multiple layers. So like
and move things around.
Yeah, like you could do your
that's pretty cool.
Shitty under sketch.
Yeah.
And then create a new layer on top and lower the opacity of that under sketch and do your good sketch on top of it.
Yeah. And not only that, you can change the size of your drawings too. Like,
yeah, so if
you can just make it a little bigger or smaller. If you're
drawing an eyeball and you draw the eyeball all wonky, well you can just select that eyeball and change it and adjust it. Whereas
if you think it's too much to the right or something.
Yeah, then you can move it over. Whereas if you're doing it traditionally, if you fuck up your eyeball, you have to erase it. Like, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
You can't just size it.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, I think, when it comes to digital work and digital drawings, I mean, it's obviously a good way to go for a lot of things, and you can tinker with things and have fun with stuff. But, it's just, if you're not creating a body of work as far as what you're doing or you're sketching and stuff like that, it seems kind of weird because it's almost like you have to start saving your digital files, even the ones that you don't like. Like, that's what I would do if I was more into all digital, everything all day. I would just save things, even if I didn't like them. I would have folders and folders and folders of just doodles and drawings.
Well, you do that with your music.
That's what I do, yeah. I just save. If I do something for half an hour, I save it. I don't delete very much. Which I've heard, like, the more I listen to people that do music, they say, like, try to finish your work, like, try to finish your tracks. It's weird to have, like, a folder with, like, 100 files that aren't finished.
But sometimes that's
that are
not
just,
a
like,
bad
ideas, kind of.
Because, like, if you do keep at least some of those, you can go back to them when, like, let's say you're feeling kind of creative, but you're having a hard time coming up with an idea, a start point. You can go back to those old files and pull them up and listen to them, and then either work on that track.
That's true.
Or it might inspire a new idea.
I totally agree with you on that for sure. And I think what I see a lot is getting inspiration from an old thing that I did, or refreshing kind of my way of thinking that I was when I was making something, or like you put yourself back into that spot that you were when you were just spending an hour to try to, I don't know, have some fun with some things or whatever. And it's always like, I enjoy opening a file from like 6 months ago or something that I've completely forgotten what it sounds like. And then I enjoy opening it again and being like, oh, and then you kind of remember that thing, but it's like 6 months ago now, and you kind of never finished it, and you just hung it up.
Right.
But at the same time, when you open that again and you listen to it, and you're just like, oh, like, okay, and then you either can make a newer version off of it or keep going with it. So I kind of enjoy that process of, having the old files. And it's the same thing with music or sketching, and in the digital world is kind of like that. You have these digital files that, it's almost like looking at old digital pictures. We have folders and folders worth of digital pictures. Like, it's cool to look at all that. And at the same time with music or with art, it's just cool to have those like banks,
Yeah, I like looking back at my old sketchbooks too for that same reason. Just seeing, like, I guess my old way of doing things and what I found interesting at that point. Sometimes it inspires me to either go back to what I was doing and revisit it, or to kind of come up with something new, or...
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
And I think, because I'm reading a book right now about, like, Da Vinci and, his period of being kind of creative and making things. Like, he had so many sketches, and he was always sketching. and you want to talk about somebody who was sketching and writing things down and had so many ideas flying through his head, like, that guy was the reason why half of the things today, like, are here.
Mm-hmm.
Because of his sketches and his outlandish ideas, and he wanted to make airplane-sized bow and arrows and, like, just craziness, you know what I mean?
That's something I want to get back into, is sketching more. I used to do it all the time.
Yeah,
I just kind of got out of the habit.
That's true. And I think, like, you know, I think we live in a time where we feel like there's a lot of stuff that we have, but I also think, like, there's so much room for invention and new ideas and new drawings and new things to come forward, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's limitless. And to sit here and think that everything's been invented, or it's like, oh, no, nothing new can happen anymore because everything's great and magical. It's like, that's such a limited way of looking at things.
It is. And I feel that because we have access to all of this stuff through our phone devices, that we're kind of losing that imagination. We're losing that ability to think creatively and think inventively. And,
in a way,
you know, because okay, so let's just say I want to draw a shark because I have Triller Mike here. If I want to draw a shark, most of the time I'm going to look at pictures of sharks.
Yeah.
But that will do the thing to my brain where the brain will see the picture of the shark and it will remember what that picture of the shark looks like. So then I can't reinvent what the shark looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, yeah.
So I think, like, that's what people are doing, where they might be like, oh, do they make, like, the opposite of a microwave, let's just say, a freezer wave. And then they'll go on to Google and they'll look up freezer wave and they'll find, like, different examples of it and then be like, okay, well...
Dry ice. You'll
be like, okay, well, there's already a freezer wave, so
a freezer wave.
There it is.
Exactly.
But it's like they're not... Like, you can invent a new freezer wave, a different way of doing it. You know?
Exactly, I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, just aren't taking the time to sit and imagine.
Yeah, I totally agree with you with that. And I think because in certain aspects, there has been a lot of innovation. And I think innovation comes in waves too, like anything. And it takes a lot of time for certain things to kind of, you know, reach a level of understanding before, like, these huge waves of innovation can come around. And it's also a matter of, like, what people want and what people don't want, because, you know, generally speaking, there's a lot of cool things that could exist, but a lot of people wouldn't want it in their lives or would find no use for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that, unless it's something useful, like, you can push creativity and invention to all kinds of wacky limits, but if it's not a useful thing, then it could just be something incredibly fun and something outlandish, but it might be a one-off or something that only a handful of people would ever consider using, you know what I mean? So there's definitely different levels of, like, innovation.
But maybe developing that quote-unquote useless thing will lead to the useful thing.
Absolutely. And that's kind of how I think the things we use day to day now, you know, eventually at some point somebody thought it was ridiculous or somebody thought it would never be useful. Like, who's going to use a coffee machine that's, you know, electric? You know, that's so silly. Right? Somebody probably thought that.
Oh, yeah.
And now half of the population has electric coffee machines.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
People are like, well, you could just use the stove. You can boil the water. You got this percolator. You're going to make it that way. Nobody's going to use an electric one. You know? And then time goes by and half of the population has electric coffee makers.
But there are still some people out there that would say that percolators are still the way to go.
That's what I'm saying, is that percolators that make coffee are amazing, and there's nothing wrong with them.
No,
And people
makes your
use
coffee
them.
taste different.
People use them every day, and if you know how to make a perfect coffee, it could be the best way. And people would laugh at the electric coffee maker and be like, those people don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, like I don't think Dr. Merritt uses an electric coffee maker.
Exactly.
The guy is a coffee genius.
So there you go. So you have a coffee genius that's not using an electric coffee maker. So that's all I'm trying to say. So, the person that's making the perfect coffee, the coffee genius, looks at the electric coffee machine and says, that's a dumb way to make coffee.
Yep.
And he uses a percolator and a heated element of some sorts or a flame or whatever to get that water boiling to make that coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So just because there's innovation doesn't mean that everybody's going to use it or accept it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of perspective.
Yep.
And if you have a coffee genius not even using an electric coffee machine, then maybe it's not the best way to make coffee. You'd have to ask him. Is it the convenience or is it... What is it?
You'd probably say the convenience.
The convenience of the percolating coffee for him, or the convenience of the electric coffee?
Oh, the convenience of the electric coffee. That's
yeah,
why
I think that's why people use it.
Because
People like things that are convenient, and people like things that, if you can make something simple and convenient, you're hitting a good pocket for people to use it.
Yeah.
People like simple. People like convenient. If you can make something simple and convenient, a lot of people would use that.
Yeah.
That's just the way that things have gone as far as stuff that you see and that you use and that you notice.
Yeah.
Convenient, simple stuff. That's why like the wacky, outlandish things and like some of the things that Da Vinci drew up, like they never even got made because it was like, bro, you want to make a crossbow the size of an airplane? Like, what is this? What are we going to even use this for?
Yeah.
So people like Da Vinci, who's coming up with all kinds of craziness, it's like, sure, whatever, it's outlandish, but like, there's nobody that's going to use this in their daily life. Like, I'm going to go practice with my airplane-sized crossbow today.
Why not?
Like, that's not going to be a sentence that anybody's going to be saying.
Well, my drink is very done.
Yeah, dude, this has been fun. Been fun to just hang out.
Yeah.
Do an audio version.
Yeah. Something a little different.
I think the last time we did an audio-only version, we were really sick, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
So this is cool to do an audio-only version where we're actually feeling good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Exactly.
Oh boy. Well, shall we go do that water change?
Yeah, we should probably make our fish happy and go give them some fresh water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it was good chilling with everybody at the audio-only bar today. I hope everybody's doing great out there. Invent something cool for everyone, alright? Let's keep the world turning with cool inventions.
Even if you think it's useless.
Yeah, exactly. Or make a new video game, because there can never be too many of those.
Do it!
Do we have crumbs on the couch?
Probably. We're disgusting.
Ew, there's crumbs on the couch. Somebody should vacuum that.
Cheers, folks.
Bye, everybody.
Vacuum your couch.
Vacuum your couch.